Hello. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to my stream. I am Paladin Ashe, here to stream for you again. And today we return with Palworld because I didn't really have anything else planned for today. It's been a hectic summer. My schedule has been kind of inconsistent, and I expect it to remain inconsistent until about the end of the summer, especially this week. I have another gotta go watch my mom's dog thing on on the weekend, and I have another class on the weekend, so don't expect the at least don't expect the buddy stream from me. But more than likely Bo will be doing something else if he schedules it, or might just take the day off because I will be busy. Anyways, I am going to start up the game and get into it. Mostly because I need something to take my mind off of yet more frustration that happened in my life. Was working on a sewing project, and I may never work with fucking vinyl ever again. Like, up until this moment, it was fine. But why am I going there? Up until this moment, it was fine. But then, yeah, I had the most frustrating experience. Get gatherables, dropped items, multiplier. Let's put that up to 1.2 or 1.5. Yeah. All right, that happens in this. LeBron cherry me. Damn, that's fucking massive. Why must it be so massive? Let's go chill it. Sorry. Excuse me. Fuck you. Those orbs are precious. Ah! My soul is weighed down by gravity. Yeah, okay, I suddenly understand the EC621 thing. That face was borderline unwholesome. Yeah, I don't want to test whether I can climb with this much ore on me. Okay, you have... No. You have a kindling of 2. You have a kindling of 3, so I'm sorry, Foxbox. You're demoted to cooking duty. You are upgraded to... I said... Oh, you're eating. I suppose I can tolerate that. Many things. Let's get a Vixie out. Are you kidding me? Did I send them out? Oh. I guess I understand that real time and whatever isn't flowing. What are you even doing? You're just kind of idling because you got nothing to do. I need to go adventuring. Catch more pals. With the experience boost and my wandering, I am basically balls deep. The Ingussies. It's the Ingussies that are the bottleneck. Can I upgrade? No, this is plenty upgraded. Technology. Right, I'm up to conveyor belts at this point. I should bite the bullet and just make that. Gonna make you a basic medical facility for managing the health. Helps reduce a depletion and prevents illness and injury. While sanitation has its limits, it plays a crucial role in early phase development. Okay. What else can I buy? I should buy this preemptively. I'll have to have one of these and an electric type dedicated to it. I should whip out an electric type and put it into the ranch. Farm electric. Might as well just go. Did I never grab this? Fuck. I keep forgetting. Wandering merchant.
Hey.
But one of the shittier ones. Damn, bruh. Man, I keep sleeping on how busted my Incineram is, or any Incineram really. They kind of hit like a truck. Boosh. You know what? I need to get that conveyor belt out. Oh, I'm pretty sure I don't have one of these. This is, I think, a Dazzy? Yeah, they're over in the early desert. Off in that direction somewheres. Okay, now let's get that tower. Breath of the Wild. I don't want to deal with your bullshit. Why am I naked? Did I never make clothes for myself? Oh. Oh, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He gave me drugs. Okay, so that's the tower I've already done. That's the second tower. Technically, I can go over there for clues. May as well follow the story. Let's go back to base. Okay. Bruh, I've got a blaze hole? What are these? Sorry. Actually, no. You know what? You get to be a rancher. I get to have an elected person. What's that sound? Probably a lamb ball. Oh, it's a powerful Kativa. Since when can you do ice attacks? Okay, thank God. I haven't put any points into work speed. I was like, oh, did I screw myself by putting points into work speed? You really don't want to bother. Like, it has its benefits, but frankly, you're better off just like acquiring potions through dungeons. But yeah, I'm gonna put in for stamina. The two best stats, at least mutually agreed upon between me and my buddy Joey, are stamina and weight and carry weight. Because carry weight, of course, you're going to be carrying a whole lot of shit, and stamina, you're going to be sprinting and doing a lot of shit that requires stamina. But you get a lot of your health from armor and your work speed. I mean, seriously. Look at this. Look with your special eyes. Look at my my lovely pals. I don't need anything more than that. I don't need those at this juncture. Why do I have that? I think I bred the dire howl. Where? There. Did I not put an egg in there? Let's correct that. A moist egg. Do you like a nice moist egg in these trying times? Okay. I can make... Currently waiting on okay, I have enough for that, so I will make the conveyor belt now. I'm gonna put this upstairs. You know what? I'll tolerate it. Where is the opening side? Ugh. Okay. I am opening this can of Crush soda. Kind of meaningless to have an additional bed. This dude never sleeps. A coffin? Hmm. Wait, why am I doing that? Why am I acting like a put upon child? I can sleep. I'm so used to being on like the server with my buddies and like the ability to my ability to actually just transition the night being like cut off by the fact that like nobody fucking gets into their beds. Which, I mean, I get why. I get why. There is basically like not a whole lot of benefit other than just like forcing your pals to work harder. Damn, bruh. Infrastructure. Yield more of your organs. It's a crack. Graze more. Graze faster. Oh, I need a power generator. Get in there. I know for a fact I'm trimming down my pals at some point. He's a cutie. That's a lot of wood. Oh, I am weighed down by gravity. My soul is weighed down by gravity. Oh, what a world! What a world! Oh. Yeah, sure, why not? I've actually reduced the weight on me a chunk enough that I'm actually moving faster. Ugh. Infrastructure. Dazzy, I'm gonna put this behind the house. You know, behind the house so it's like look pleasant, you know, out of sight, out of mind. Okay, let's get Dazzy set up to only do that. That is specifically all you will ever do, Dazzy. Welcome to your job of lightning bending power. At some point, Paladin's going to be the one that I have to suffer. Right. This thing. May as well. Can always catch additionals. Handiwork. You're out, you're out. You have good handiwork. You have good handiwork too. Honestly, your transport skill is shit. You're gathering and... you're kind of just there to fill a slot and bring up everybody's shit by one. Wait. Oh, I think that's stream, but you're listed on the Twitch side, but you're not listed there in my chat, which tells me Saribot already got you. Interesting. One sec. What about... That really is just kind of there. What? Oh, I did it bad. Oh, I did it bad. Oh, I did it bad. I hate navigating YouTube. Why is it such a fucking... Why is it such a pill just to go to the... There we go. Oh, I see. Kinda mad. By the way. Ugh. What do you mean stressed? Okay. Okay. Your transport is too? That is what you're going to be doing. I think I've got plenty enough gathering. What's the status of my Pokeballs? Okay, some of you are too busy fucking around doing stupid shit you should not be doing. Fine. All I want are some hyperspheres. Don't need that. We'll toss that. Okay, let's go get some ore. What's the status of? Oh yeah, it's gonna break by the time I start getting it going. Production assembly. That. Would be funny to get the handgun, but that's expensive. Plus, I prefer the bow and arrow. Yeah, that figures. This is so slow. Repair, 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 repair. Where's the repair setup? Where did I put it? Did I never put one down? What is fucking orbs? I'm gonna put one down, and you know I'm gonna see when I turn around a corner somewhere else. It's right there. Stop being miserable. There's a hot tub. You know what? There are 2 hot tubs. I have no sympathy for you. Yeah. Okay, fine. Well, I'm doing this way. I can port from the base. Let's expand our horizons a bit. All right. That was in an upper level area. I want to say I watched that crash down last stream and was like, oh, those are a higher level area. I'm not fucking with that. Sure, I'll save the Vixie. It's a femboy. Got a bunch of those. Ooh, lucky, which means that they have like, I want to say at least one of their primary stats is upgraded. Ah. I hate these things so much. There's really only, you can really only control them that way. I need to upgrade this bow. It's ramshackle. Ribboni. No, I'm not capturing another one of those things. All right, yeah. It's night, and this is an ice type. Riding ice types increases your cool, which is all well and dandy during the day, but awful during the night if you have no cool resistance. Ah. What are you doing? Creamus! Discount to actually no, Fluffy Eevee. Discount is an unfortunate thing. Hey, how are you doing? Shit. I wanted one of those. I didn't mean to fucking obliterate it. Hey, dude. Yeah. Did I learn how to make the Mercy Ring? Okay. I've learned how to make the Mercy Ring, and I should have the resources back at base. Well, that's good. We saw that you fell asleep at your computer again yesterday, or at least you left yourself logged in. Not a criticism, though I did kind of disconnect you because you've been in there like 19 hours. Cuteness is considered a virtue. Man, it's been ages since I actually fell asleep at my keyboard. As soon as I start to feel like, is usually when I, like, you know, basically make a beeline for bed. Yeah, Bo's more likely to wind up falling asleep asleep at his keyboard. He'll be like, I'm sorry I didn't say goodnight. I fell asleep at my keyboard. I'll be like, that's fine. Oh shit! Oh shit! Man, my dad wasn't even like 60 before he started falling asleep in front of the TV. He just like recline a bit and just nod off. Though he was one of those people who got one of those sleep apnea machines, CPAPs. I don't think I could ever. For one, I sleep on my side, and sleep apnea machines aren't really conducive to that. For two, it feels like one of those things people wind up buying into along with CrossFit and veganism. Basically, they make a lifestyle out of having a CPAP machine, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, got that one. Give me that chicken. Inevitable. Kind of a waste of my upper end balls, but you know, it was funny. You fucking cunt. Kind of touring these islands and looking for a place to put down more roots. Beat. Get the ball. Sorry, I just had like a mental image of that fucking Seinfeld bean with the baseball bat. The two-piece no biscuit combo followed by a pal sphere. There's quite a lot of flat areas, so these would be great ranching spaces. I think this dude sells pals. I trade in any kind of pal, whether that's stolen pals or even prohibited. Take a look. Let's get ourselves a memorest. Shit, you're not wrong. I didn't even make that connection until you just said that. Beat. Okay, there's a teleport point. No, not here. I've got one of you. Ow. I don't want to whip out my Incineram. It will kill it. Okay. Get in the balls. These are expensive. Mastery of fasting. Okay, that's not bad. I think as a worker that basically means that it'll almost never eat. Let's not go off the beaten track. That's a treasure island over there. I can't really make good use of it yet, so I won't go to it yet. But I will get that other teleport point. I need a place with multiple ore nodes in it. I think that's the arena island over there. The map in this game is deceptively massive. Like, okay, I reached a point where I was like, oh, I don't really know where to go from here because I think I've gone everywhere in our, like, you know, in my buddy's server. And then I crossed over a mountain and was like, is that a whole ass desert continent? Because I thought I'd gone to the desert. I had gone to a desert area that had Anubis in it, and I was like, this is kind of small for a desert. No, it was a whole ass desert continent. And then like an actual like larger mountain range with one of the towers in it. And a whole lot of pals I had yet to see. I haven't even gone to most of the conservation domes, which are those like bubbles. The gist of those is that they're where you can find some pals that are quote unquote endangered, and for the most part only findable in those regions, or in those regions, like the Electabuzz looking motherfucker that Zoe's got, Grisbolt. Yeah, that's findable there, and they're honestly a pretty good pal. Yeah, the drones basically will go and will patrol areas. I think they patrol in a very specific circuit, but if they see you, they immediately delete you. I haven't gone to many others than the first one. The first one, like the one nearest to your starting area, that one's like easy to go on because there's exactly one drone going around the perimeter and only the perimeter. Okay, I don't want that smoke. So I just finished watching an anime from last season, Kusunoki's Garden of the Gods. Honestly pretty chill, but I feel like it had a confused identity. The general gist is that the main character moves into an old house that his family owns in it's like an old semi-abandoned like classic manor house in the countryside, and he has this sort of aura of purity about him that just purifies dark bad vibes and whatnot, and can his writing has that nature imbibed into it, and he winds up kind of just accidentally gaining the attention of a mountain deity named Yamagami, who is this big ass wolf looking dude, majestic as hell, and he's kind of got the energy of Fel from Campfire Cooking in Another World with my awesome skill, though minus some of the ego, or actually no, minus some of the antagonism. He's still got the ego because he's a god. And there's just a lot of cases where he's interacting with gods like Fujin and Raijin, who are two Shotas, and one of them gives him wind powers. Or he goes to a place where an ancient deity, a lot more noteworthy than Fujin and Raijin, but I won't say, gives him, the ability to seal things. Yeah. I'd say it felt kind of confused on what it wanted to be because most of the moments... Sorry, one sec, loud. I'd say it's kind of confused on what it wanted to be because most of the moments are them just chilling and eating sweets and just like vibing. But then like a bunch of Onmyoji start like asking him for, you know, his like talismans written by him. And he's like, oh, hey, Fel. How you doing? But yeah, like his talismans initially are literally just like him writing shopping lists, but the energy of his words is enough to do things. And like it has an actual climax with like an onslaught of like a bad energy beast coming after you know, the hacking stuff. Locate the vulnerable spot to hack the lock. Observe its response to find the correct angle. Yes. Ah, shit. Got too much shit on me. Okay, let's toss out the ammo and the wood. Ray of grass resistance. You know, I've considered that. Like, okay, being an anituber is not the worst thing you could possibly be, but I'd need to watch a lot more fucking anime. But it wouldn't really be like the worst thing to do. Let's mark you with one of those. But yeah, you know, it's a good series, I would say. Really chill to watch, even if it feels kind of disjointed that it's like suddenly we're fighting demons and acting like the stakes are the highest. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I wonder how the manga is. I haven't even checked if it has one. Because sometimes they just don't have a manga, like Zenshu from a bunch of seasons back was unironically an original, like an anime original, and I fully recommend it. Because it does a lot of like callbacks to really classic anime and has like a really dark story, but you know, like a dark but not bittersweet story, mostly because like the main story of it is about how like the main character gets thrown into what was essentially a tragedy, like an egregious tragedy. And she's like, okay, I'm rewriting this then. And it's like a love letter to being a mangaka. I will say, I sometimes question if I could be even a reviewer of any sort, because like, I tend to be, shall we say, more forgiving of things. Like I liked, there was an anime from a few seasons back, a seinen anime, which was named The Demon Slayer's Sword. And the gist of it is that a young man witnessed his, you know, like his entire life fall apart. Most of us can't be reviewers of Nintendo games. We said many mean things to them. I'm more like, I don't have the capacity to be overly harsh and critical of things. I always find something to like about a thing. It really takes a lot for me to be like, that was outright shit and you should not watch it. Like, okay, so Demon Slayer Sword. Decent story, but it's told very, like, in bites and disjointedly across several years. And there are genuinely some atrociously animated episodes. Like, when I say atrociously animated, there's this one where he's helping this chick fight a demon, and at one point while they're talking, she kind of shifts her head to the side, but the thing is, they don't animate her head turning. Her face, the actual graphic of her face on her skull, just shifts down. Yeah. And that wasn't even the worst part of that episode, because they get into the fight with this, like, demon chick, and her ability is, like, she's, like, uses these chains on you, and whenever it grabs you somewhere, as it, like, suppresses you, the chains became so fucking badly animated. They became, like, noodles of metal with balls on them. But it's not the worst series you could watch. I'd give it a solid 7. Damn, who cooked this so quickly? Okay, I've got plenty of PAL space, so... Okay, I don't need that many organs. Get in there. Get in there. Work slave. Okay, what is weighing me down? All this metal. Well, I am reminded of, oh fuck. There's this one isekai that I dropped, like, I normally don't, like, not finish an anime because it's bad. I just I don't finish it because I get to the point where I'm like, oh, I may as well finish it and move on to things. Like, I don't even understand my logic there, but it happens. It is what it is. Well, fucking, let me actually look up the name of it. Boku Tatsu. Okay. No, that ain't it. Boku Ratsu. Isekai. Ah, there it is. I'm a noble on the brink of ruin, so I might as well try mastering magic. Or otherwise known as Botsuraku Yote no Kizoku Dake no Hima Data Kara Maho wo Kima or Kiwanete Mita. So, as somewhat of a lover of isekai, I watched a bit of that. And I dropped it by the 5th episode. Mostly because, honestly, it felt like a knockoff of another somewhat second-rate anime. So let me get into that. There is this isekai called Eighth Son, Are You Kidding Me? And the general gist of it is, young man who I guess was worked to death, they don't really get into it, he just kind of wakes up as like, you know, a young boy. He basically comes home from a long day, has his dinner, has his woe is me, and then wakes up at a banquet in like a noble's house, and there's a party going on. And the party is that his eldest brother is getting married, and he is a like a young noble in a family named, I think it was William or Weldon. One sec. Because he had a name that was basically like Wendelin. Yeah, okay. His name is Wendelin, but he's often called Well, but often also called Bell by his friends. Now, he basically like, you know, initially is like, wow, my life's gonna be super easy now because everything is upbeat and going okay. Next morning, they're eating basically like shit, cheap food. And he's, you know, the band-aids come fully off. Turns out his family is not wealthy. That was basically just a celebration to save face for the heir apparent's bride-to-be's family. They are a family of lesser, they are a knightdom, and a particularly poor one because they're on like the fringes of like settled space. And essentially he's only the 8th son in a long, like, you know, in a long list of other brothers. And to add insult to injury, his brother's a fucking dick, his eldest brother. The other ones are decent, but they basically get bought off to, like, you know, fuck off and not claim, you know, any inheritance or chafe against the family line. So very quickly, the main character's like, oh, I'm in a bad situation because I've got no skills, and I'm like 8 years old. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. Yeah. Basically, like in our society, past your spares, you'd give them to the church because there's only so many, like, quote unquote titles to throw around. And if you're a knight family, there's exactly one. You may or may not have land, you may or may not have money, and your title can go to exactly one person. You know, standard practice for peerages. You know, it's the reason why I say, like, the British peerage system has dukes. Dukes are predominantly from the, like, royal family. They're usually like either you're like the heir apparent, but here's your title until such point as you take the throne, or you're not the heir apparent, you're the second or the third, but here's a title to, you know, like, tide you over. You know, beyond that, there's earls, counts, barons, etc. And so, like, his family is particularly poor, and he's got no support from his dad. His dad sucks. It's not like he's mean. He just doesn't care. He's got his heir, and his heir is locked in. He's married, and that's all he cares about. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. And he's kind of just indignant towards his own son. And so, like, the main character's, like, trying to figure out a way to find some means of capability. And he happens upon this rock in his dad's office. You know, it's a big glass sphere, like a, you know, the standard sort of, like, oracle rock. And let's see, what am I building? I said I was going to build something. can't remember. But anyways, he finds this and touches it, and it proceeds to glow a rainbow color, and he's like, the fuck? And then he gets sent out to do hunting, you know, to like bring back food for the household. Because that's another thing that the family has to do, is that like they're poor enough that even like they can't exactly benefit completely off of like the men of the land. So he's off trying to learn how to hunt and forage. He runs into this rather majestic looking young man in the woods who, instead of being a creep, is basically like, you touched the orb I gave your dad, and it showed, and I sensed that it read a really high magic potential. So I'm gonna train you. And it's like, what? And it's like, you've got like a once in a lifetime talent for magic. I'm not letting that pass me up. I'm training you. And teaches him a bunch of stuff. I want to say he trained him real fast. Like, Wendelin learns the basics of magic really fucking quickly. And by about the third day, he's kind of got like, you know, like the fundamentals down pat, and everything else is like personal training. And that's for the best, because this is roughly where the main character finds out that his teacher is a wraith. He's not alive, he's undead. And the only reason he's not fucking crazy is because he died with a genuine, like, unfulfilled wish. But after about a year and a day, a wraith typically loses all sanity and becomes a risk to other people. And the reason he's there is because the ranges of like uncivilized lands beyond Wendelin's people are basically lands that the kingdom that his people are, his like family are from, wanted to bring under like you know, like royal rule. But the problem is that his family's kind of useless. Like, they were supposed to do that, but they don't have the potential to do it. So the king tried to raise up an army to do it, but it did not go well. And the you know, like the wraith was like the archmage that they had with the army to do this. And the army got killed, he got killed, and it was a complete waste. And he's like, I'm gonna teach you the last thing that I can possibly teach you, which is how to use holy magic. Not many people can use this, especially if they're not part of the church. You know, not because the church has like a special monopoly on it, but because it is kind of like a rare talent that deity tends to benefit. But if you're really good at magic, you can do holy magic. So he teaches him this so he can use an exorcism on this dude as like a form of graduation. When this all occurs within like the first 2 episodes, he's basically like, you know, keep practicing magic. It will be your guide to being like, to living a better life. So, you know, main character loses his teacher and proceeds to spend the next few years training, and goes off at like, I think 12 or 13 to become an adventurer. You know, I can't remember if he even so much as like receives like the payoff or something like that. Actually, yeah, I think he was paid off to like, you know, eschew his connections to the family. And his eldest brother was acting mighty weird about the whole situation because he's insecure about his position in the family. And I should make another box for food. Actually, I don't need to do that. Boosh, boosh, boosh. So basically, he goes off to become an adventurer. That's more or less where the story starts to take off, because he meets a bunch of people who are like, oh, he's a mage. We need to prove ourselves and and like get into his party. And nobody will approach him because they're all kind of vying for his attention. Because again, mages, pure mages, are a rarity. It isn't rare to have magic per se, but keep in mind that not many people have like a whole lot of potential. One of the chicks who joins his party, she's a magical martial artist, and she's got magic, but not on the level that he's got it. And everybody wants to join his party, you know, like to establish his like personal like adventuring party, and everybody is keeping an arm's length from him to prove it to him, and he reads this as everybody hating him. But like within like the third episode, he's like got his friends, and then he runs into a dude who was his master's trainer, his master's master, and the dude's like, I can tell you were trained by my student, which means you probably know a thing about him, because I knew that he was a wraith, and it was buckling up to go deal with that, and then lost all awareness of him as if he just disappeared. And I thought that was kind of weird, but I kind of figured eventually something would reveal itself. And lo and behold, so he proceeds to be like, I'm pretty sure your master gave you a bunch of shit in return for you know, like sending him, right? One of those was probably a bag of holding. A bag of holding that's got a bunch of shit in it that you're not really sure what it's there for. Yeah, so that's a literal army's worth of resources. And I'll give you a, like, you know, a bounty for the whole thing. A large lump sum. Also, because you were my, my student's actual, like, heir, you get his house. So this kid's, like, goes from basically a homeless adventurer who has no title to his name to modestly wealthy very quickly. And then he's like, I'd like to introduce you to the king. Let's go on a trip to the capital. And it's like, okay. So they get on an airship. Airships in this setting are considered like a royal treasure because the technology for making them is lost. They get attacked by a bone dragon along the way. His master's master and him fight the bone dragon midair, and he does the killing blow. So the guys are like, yeah, I'm giving that kill to you. And so they stuff the bones into his like bag of holding. And when they get to the capital, the kings are like, you killed a bone dragon? Okay, have a title. You're a baron now. And keep in mind that a baron is a full 2 rank lift up surpassing knight. It's not really a big deal, but it's usually considered a to-do. You know, like, it's not quite in peerage, but it is on the fast track to peerage. So immediately, he's basically got money and a title, and he's like, I don't know what to do with this money and a title, and winds up getting embroiled in a whole bunch of things, because over time it's very clear that everybody and their mother is either trying to, you know, trim, like, you know, like knock his rising star out of the sky, or they're trying to attach themselves to it. Like the bishop of the kingdom's like high church is like, this is my granddaughter. She is a beauty, and she is a very capable user of holy magic. I would like you to take her hand in marriage. And he's like, I mean, I'm not opposed, but are you sure? Is she sure? And it's like, yes. So already he's got a fucking bride to be. And his 2 like, you know, battle girls, because his party's got 3 people, a dude and 2 chicks. The 2 chicks are all like, we want some of that action. He's like, you want some of what action? And they're like, you. And he's like, okay. Have I mentioned that this anime has harem? It has quite a lot of harem. In fact, later on, due to circumstances that lead to his brother doing a stupid and getting himself killed, and Bell kind of like soft not inheriting his family's land. He didn't want to, because the thing the dude did would have gotten his family like dispossessed, and Bell didn't want that. So he's like, I would like my nephews, because by this point he's got 2 nephews, to like still be considered in the line of inheritance. And they're like, okay. But later on down the line, they were like, this kid's got a bunch of bitches thirsting for him, but he hasn't tapped any of them. We need to give him sex education. We'll hire his late brother's widow to give him sex education personally. And she apparently likes it so much that she becomes his mistress. I can't, in fact, remember how many people he actively marries, but he also ends up having at least a mistress or 2 later on in the books, as I've looked into it, including his, ex-sister-in-law / mistress. It is honestly kind of hilarious to me. Why don't bitches work on this? This has been sitting there for ages. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. Though I personally think it's kind of restrained, because like it's pretty clear in a lot of situations he's kind of basically just being dragged about by the nose. Welcome back, pal. But yeah, like the dude's basically kind of being dragged about by the nose, because like it becomes very clear that a bunch of like not just nobles but the king himself all kind of want to make use of him, and they respect him, but they also have invested quite a bit into him by this point. Like at one point he goes on an adventuring thing with his master's master into like a dungeon that just opened up, and the whole thing was kind of finagled as a potential trap by those who wanted to like knock him off his pedestal. But it doesn't work. They not only get to the bottom of this dungeon, they find reaches that were like completely unknown to the Adventurers Guild. And there is an airship in this thing. So I mentioned before, airships are a lost technology, and they are considered a rare treasure to be protected at all costs and used somewhat lavishly. They find another one of these. They also find a teleportation rune, which is also a lost technology. And he sells these to the kingdom proper and makes fat bank off of this. Like, he is basically considered entitled to the bulk of the proceeds of this whole trip, simply because he was the leader of his adventuring band, and his teacher's teacher is like, yeah, you get to have it, like, I'm pretty sure I would have been screwed if I was all alone. And like, the kingdom's basically, like, at the point where they're kind of nudging things to be, like, the whole thing that happens with his brother was a whole bunch of people finagling things behind the scenes, both for and against Vel. And the monarchy's hopes were that he would just take his lands and expand them. But he's all like, I will expand into the untapped, like, wilds of the lands beyond my family's lands, but I would like my nephews to be the inheritors of this proper. And they're like, okay, fine. We're talking about the anime Eighth Son, are you kidding me? So, like, that's a cliff notes of, like, the plot of that. The main character starts off very poor with nothing to attach his name to, and immediately rockets really high. Power fantasy, but also restrained because the main character is kind of being like not completely with agency at times. And I would also add, he gets trained by another wizard in the kingdom, an arc wizard, who is, by the way, the dude's, you know, bride's uncle. And this arc wizard is basically Armstrong. He is he's a muscle wizard. His staff is a fucking hammer. And his magic is all based around self-enhancements and protection, but also like just mollywopping things in melee. And he puts both the main character and his one of his mistresses, the chick who's, you know, a magical martial artist, through the ringer to train them. And I need more ingots. Okay, yeah, fine. Let me okay, I'm gonna get more ore. So like, it's not like the main character has no limits. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, that's how you achieve decent power fantasy, is that like, you gotta have like a world that isn't just like straw dummies for them to knock over. And in this case, a lot of his fights are against like genuine beasts of man that are considered like a threat to civilizations. Yeah. But like, so like the reason I got onto this subject was because I dropped an isekai that was essentially all of that, but with less stakes. Like, okay, there aren't really a whole lot of stakes in an anime about a dude who basically is like, I'm about to kick ass and chew bubblegum because I've got magic and most people don't. But this one, oh boy, did it not have stakes. Like, in 8th Son, are you kidding me? The main character, like the main character's family's lands are on the far reaches of settled lands, and monsters are no fucking joke. Like at one point, he helps the kingdom take over a grasslands region that they had been contesting for a decade. They had been trying to take it for literal years. And this is despite the fact that the Arc Wizards and, you know, his master's master were basically being fielded there because there's an Earth Dragon in the region, and Earth Dragons are no fucking joke. And he shows up and he helps out, but it is an actually tense fight. So it's like the world outside of human civilization sucks hard and presses against, like, you know, humanity really hard. And then you've got fucking, let me bring it up again. What was it called? I'm a noble on the brink of ruin, so I might as well try mastering magic. We are in some 12-episode anime hell with this one. So in that one, it's basically the same as what I just described. Youngest noble of a noble family that is in dire straits, and he's basically not in any way the heir in any way possible, and he learns magic to broaden his horizons and give himself like a cushion to fall upon. However, first and foremost, his family are basically like archdukes. They are ranking nobles. The only thing that they are in dire straits about is that in this kingdom, every couple generations, a family's got to prove that they're worthy of their title. A bit of like heroic noblesse oblige. So they like, I want to say they got their title because they like sealed like I can't remember what they did. I want to say they like sealed a powerful and dangerous dragon in their lands, and every so often have to maintain the seal, and it every so often gives them guff. And that's the reason why their family has like any standing whatsoever. And why do I have so much shit in me? What is weighing me down? It's the ore. I forgot about the ore. You. Okay, there we go. But yeah, like basically like the only thing that is wrong with this family is they're gonna, you know, have to experience a demotion if they don't do anything cool. And his teacher is just some fucking bum who comes through the area and avoids the powers that be because he's a delinquent. And the dude's all like, I'm gonna teach you magic. Okay, I taught you magic. Goodbye. And so the main characters are like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to craft stuff with magic. Then I'm gonna have a clone of myself go over to the kingdom over and teleport that shit to him to sell that stuff because my brother is blocking me from getting a peddling license and whatnot. Like, his brother is just unironically bullying him. And then the main character starts doing some awesome stuff. So his brothers are like, I'll prove that I'm awesome too by releasing the ancient dragon. And turns out that's not a problem because the dragon's a good guy. In fact, he proceeds to be like, yo, don't know why I was sealed here, but mind like taking my power and my inheritance? And he's all like, okay, there's an island somewheres that is your inheritance. And like along comes this princess from the kingdom who's all like, our people have dragon blood in us. And the dragon's all like, you don't got shit in you, you're lame. And she's like, oh. And he's all like, there's this island. It is not for you, it's for him. And she's like, oh shit. Then I guess I have to like treat this dude as royalty. So he goes to this fucking island and contacts like the creatures there, which include pixies and werewolves. The werewolves. So you know that thing Slime Tensei does where when a powerful entity makes a contract with a monster, that monster evolves? Well, this one does that, but somehow achieves lamer than Slime Tensei. Because whereas Slime Tensei just blanderizes the creature in question, the only acceptable evolution to me was the fucking goblins. Everybody else, fucking waste of time. Fucking seriously. But no, he gives a name to the leader of the werewolf, and it goes from awesome werewolf to dog girl with hairy hands. It was such a disappointment. I was so annoyed. And when he gives a name to the pixies, they turn into big titty elves. And I was just like, so you go from kind of interesting tiny women to fat milker elf women? Is the author of this bland and boring like his tastes? And by the 5th episode, he runs into some poachers on his land. How they got there, I don't know, because I want to say like this island is like completely like cut off from like the land proper. But he runs into some poachers and they're like, what are you doing? Why are you stopping us? And he has this whole flashback to everything that's happened up until now. Keep in mind, this is episode 5. Not a whole lot has happened, but he has a dramatic flashback to everything he's been fucking done until now. And he's like, I am the leader of this kingdom. Pretty sure all of you are in ad hell, so I'll hold my energy for a moment. Did you just dodge? can I get my... Okay, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six levels, so I may as well go a Viking. But I kind of want to get an upgraded bow or a weapon of some sort. Old revolver. What do you take? Actually, black powder. What makes black powder? Yeah, okay, I'm not getting that. I'm making an upgraded bow. I've got plenty of points. Crossbow. You want that cake? I want that cake. You want that cake? I want that cake. You want that cake? I want it! Okay. Somebody get in here. Pangolin, where are you? What do you fucking mean upset and won't work? Fuck you. Useless fucking slut. Fine. God, it's hot today. Oh. Before I came into stream, I was working on a sewing project. Was having such fucking frustration with it. And I'm gonna have to change my needle in between. Because, like, I was sewing through so many thick-ass layers that the needle actually deflected into the stitch plate. There was an active fucking mark where it drilled right into it. I'm so fucking mad. But yeah, where was I? So, like, yeah, dude in the anime has like his whole "I'm gonna take a stand" moment in episode 5, backed with a flashback of all he's McFucking done until that moment, and it felt so thoroughly unearned that I shit you not, because I was watching this as a before I go to sleep sort of thing. I was watching this anime. It wasn't even done. It wasn't even at the like halfway point of the episode. I rolled my eyes, turned off the anime, and went to sleep. And stopped watching it from there because I enjoy isekai, but like I enjoy isekai that doesn't feel unearned for a lot of the stuff. Like, it's one thing if the character is just overpowered. It's another thing if like everybody is just glazing them and like even the plot wants them to look like awesome. It's one of the reasons why I didn't watch that one where like the from like a couple seasons back where like it's about like a third prince who the gods basically were like, you get to live another life, so have some blessings, and they jack up all his stats. And even when he tries to like hide the fact that his stats are really high, he gaffes and tells his parents and his like, you know, like family that his stats are still damn high. And they're like, holy shit, your stats are damn high. And then he did a thing and they were like, let us see your stats panel now. And then they were like, what the hell? And at one point, he gets arrested for causing mischief because he's being such a white knight through town that they were like, you're causing problems. And like, it's like nothing but, oh, that's powerful? I didn't think it would be that powerful. Like at one point, because I tried the manga for a time, he makes a bag of holding for like his adventuring trainers. And they're all like, we were looking to buy one of these with the money from this job, but it would have been a small one. How much can this contain? And he's like, like 1,000 pounds. And they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, and they're like, we could literally get like murdered for having this. And he's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You know, and they're like, no, it's not okay. This is like national treasure level of powerful. And he's like, yeah, but it's made so that like only you can use it. They're like, so it's enchanted to be locked to us? Yeah, okay. This really is a national treasure level artifact in our hands. Like he basically handed them like the equivalent of a legendary and was like, wait, aren't bags of holding like good like this? And they're like, most can only hold like 50 pounds at most. It was a little bit too egregious and it wasn't for me. You know, like I have my limits, but I am willing to watch trash. Like, Eighth Son, are you kidding me? Was genuinely like, I would place that as a B tier anime, but it's a genuine good watch. I recommend it. But the, you know, I'm on the brink of ruin one, I don't recommend because like, it really does feel like the author is just playing out wish fulfillment. Yeah, that's my problem with Gate is that like it's like, oh, yeah, oh, we just defeated an army of centurions with rifles. We're so good. And the mage in our party, yeah, her magic got like a major kick from knowing physics. Yo, we're just so good. And I remember just being like, this feels like there's not really a like stakes, if you will. Like, you know they're going to win because they got an Apache helicopter. Let's put one of you on this. Rank 3. Yeah, you. As it stands, I'm doing all the work for putting shit into boxes. Yeah. Like, they literally at one point have, like, Spetsnaz and fucking the US Spec Ops attack them at one point. And yeah, okay, they had Rory Mercury helping them. And she's a literal, like, demigod of, like, death and war. But I still find it kind of asinine. Like, kind of frustrating, if you will, that they're basically like, yeah, yo, we're just so awesome. Keeping in mind that with the best will in the universe, the main character is by definition the kind of person you get joining the JSDF. People who are joining for a paycheck, because Japan barely gets involved in engagements. They do not fight wars. And the main character joined for a paycheck and failed his way up into ranking like commissioned status. Like his literal commanding officer was like, I find you frustrating, so I will put you through special training. And he somehow surpassed all expectations. Not just surpassed all expectations, basically has like special ranking. It is such a frustrating experience. And don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to the idea of like, you know, that kind of power play. Well, it would be fucking nice if the, you know, if the game wasn't, or if the anime wasn't basically like, oh yeah, we're just so fucking good because we're the JSDF. Let's see. What can I buy? I guess I'll take the antique stuff. I've got an excess of points. I think I might have... Yeah, I don't hate Gate, I should point out. I've never, like, finished it. But, like... It kind of got a bit egregious for me is the reason, but like, it's an enjoyable watch. The animation's good. The characters are likable. You know, which is more than you can say for some series. Like... As much as I enjoy, say, like, Eighth Son, Are You Kidding Me? It put... Holy shit. Hey, Saltbreaker. Thanks for the raid. How you doing? How was your stream? Also, for those who are just joining us, I am Paladin Ashe. I am a variety streamer, polar bear. I tend to angle for a comfy vibes. Think of me as that retired adventurer telling stories by the fireplace. That's good. What were you playing? Make more boards. Ingots and boards. Yeah, okay. Nice. Hope that was enjoyable. Having touched Mech Warrior a little bit at the behest of Bo, he really basically was like, I want you to play this with me. I'm like, okay. I want you to play this with me modded. Okay. I'm going to show you how to mod this. Okay. Plays it a couple of times. Only a couple of times. Every mission was hectic. I don't think I survived, like, not saying I died in every mission, but I'm pretty sure bits of my mech got blown smooth off each time. Okay, so... Literally do not need that many boards. Fuck. Give me one board. Yeah. I'm rolling vanilla with the DLC. Yeah, there are limits to my patience for all the modding and things. Especially because, like, most games that are moddable aren't as intuitively moddable as, say, even like fucking like fucking Skyrim or fucking Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, it really does, because after the 50 mod mark, you basically have to start putting in like special patches, you know, things that like add compliance between other mods, fucking a bash patch. You got to worry about load lists. At this point, I'm more willing to use Wabbajack or curated Nexus lists than I am to do it myself. Bash patches were always something that I found annoying to make, because like it always aggravates me when like you'll follow a tutorial on how to use like the fucking wire bash, and it'll like be like, do this, this, and this, and this should happen, and then like the thing will throw an error, but you'll fucking get the patch anyways, and it's like, is this working? My first AI engine was one that sorted out my Nexus mod web mess. You know, I'd never considered using that for like mods. Wait, when you say workshop, do you mean Bethesda's workshop or the Steam workshop, Saltbreaker? Okay, coal and salt. Okay. Mushrooms in Gussie. There we go. Good boy. Pass the butter. What is my purpose? To pass the butter. My God. Okay. I've been base bitching a bit too long. I should get out there. I'm gonna just clear up my inventory a bit. Ring of Mercy. You know what? Fuck it. I'll stick around long enough to get a Ring of Mercy and some armor. If I'm gonna be doing that, I may as well go around and get some ore. Oh, it's actually hot today. Summer has truly finally hit us. The funny part is only about 90 degrees. I think, no, actually 30 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius, if memory serves, is about 85? Let me check that. 30 C in Fahrenheit. 86. You are cold. I need a riding mount that isn't my noodle. Chillet's an ice type. Unless I've got something protecting me against the cold, I'm gonna get cold because I am. Is it a him? It is a him. Let's call him Brutal. You know, Bro Noodle. Yeah, the vending machine one. Every time I see an isekai where somebody's like reborn as a noun and the noun is an object, I'm just like, not for me. I did not watch that one about the dude being reincarnated as a holy sword. I did not watch the vending machine one. I shall not watch, if it was ever made, the one where there are fucking hot springs. And I absolutely, positively will not, I repeat, will not, if it ever gets adapted, watch the one that's about a toilet in a dungeon. Because we have achieved the author's not even barely this like hidden fucking fetish there. It is just too fucking weird for me. I will take basically Kirito with a harem. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. It's like I fully acknowledge that there is value to the sword one, but it just wasn't for me. The appeal was not there. Okay, let's make ourselves some cold resist plate. The topic of herons, wasn't there a huge debacle about herons being evil and demonizing women for a long time? I'm like, don't threaten the mangakas. We have enough from extreme fanfic shippers. So the problem is that a lot of Gen Zs are really selective about what they're willing to tolerate or suspend their disbelief for. Gen Zs and millennials, I'll fully acknowledge that one. And it is not hard to find some dumb shit who will be like, harem isn't realistic, you shouldn't have it. Slavery is bad, you shouldn't have it. And if you do, they should be an abolitionist. Also, Rudius is a creep because lolicon, you know, and just like so on and so forth. The most viciously awful people you'll ever meet with the most shit takes about anime. You know, like people who are basically undeserving of your time. And I fucking can't stand them. Like, they have the worst opinions. I need more ingots. I need more ingots. Like, okay, I understand that harem is unrealistic. We all understand this. However, there ain't nothing realistic about a dude being sent off to another world because he got hit by a truck. And I'm sorry, I'm willing to say whatever, have your harem because it doesn't bother me. I'm into dudes and it doesn't bother me. But like some people are just so criminally opposed to the idea of like wish fulfillment and power fantasy when it comes from a dude. If it's a chick doing it, they're all for it. And their preferences when it comes to anime are so shit. Like, a really good example of this is the subject of slavery in anime. So, like, they will fucking, like, immediately pan an anime if there's slavery in an anime and the main character acquires a slave for any reason. Shield Hero, panned forever, even though the main character, even though Raphtalia, you know, is completely over it. And also, because she starts off as, like, a child, but she ages up. You know, like, this is some, oh, it's a Thermian argument. It's creepy. It's bad. I hate to tell you this, but she's still an adult. Your problem is non-existent. Fucking... and then, like... Then the Glaze animes where, like, the main character is an abolitionist, but only in the really boring, like, really, like generic fashion. Like, I enjoyed Skeleton Knight in Another World, but as somebody who had a college education, who did take classes that talked about the subject, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell it to you straight. Your story, your fan fiction about your character going and just punching a bunch of, like, slave owners and ending slavery, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how any of it's going to work. Abolitionism in America was a long period of time, you know, and there were like people who were against it, people who were for it. There was a period of time where like abolitionism lost its support because of what happened in Haiti, where like the slaves rebelled and then promptly murdered everybody. Yeah, so like, forgive me if like the whole, oh, we're gonna like, you know, like we're gonna save the slaves by being like a total warrior of justice is like nonsensically unrealistic. You know, you're not willing to tolerate fucking harem, but you're willing to tolerate this for a subject that is deserving of nuance. If you want an anime that two animes that discuss the complexity of slavery are Ascendance of a Bookworm and the realist hero, how the realist hero saved the kingdom. And the latter, the main character abolishes slavery, but he has to go through like government reforms that make it possible for those slaves to actually work after that. Because these are people who've been in positions of like they've had nothing going for them their entire lives, and if they were just punted out onto the street, it's like the Reconstruction era of America all over again, where like due to politics a bunch of people just wound up on the street, or Jim Crow era laws and whatnot. you know, like the face of like the whole situation was not just, ooh, we freed the slaves. It did not work that way. But millennials aren't willing to listen to that. Ascendance of a Bookworm, meanwhile, actually has the subject come up at one point where she basically purloins some slaves from a small city's like mayor, and it's like, would you like to be in the church? And they're like, yes, we'd like to be in the church because we don't want to be separated from our sisters. And our sisters are about to be sold to a noble. And from her perspective, it's like, oh shit, I'm going to save these people and it's going to be human rights, like, you know, forever after. Just that act nearly gets that city wiped off the map. Because by stealing those slaves, the mayor proceeded to get a bunch of people to come and attack her temple in the woods. And because it was a white buildings in this setting are the marker of the archduke or nobility in general. If a commoner lays hands on a white building with intent to damage or attack, that is a potential death sentence for an entire city. Because it is a mark that that city doesn't understand its place and that everybody there must be purged. The nobles in the Ascendance of a Bookworm setting are no fucking joke. You do not want to fuck with them. And mine initially is like, I have no idea what's going on and this is really bad and I'm worried about what's going to happen. And he's basically telling me I need to solve it because like she's being like tutored by a dude who is, you know, a noble and a priest. And it comes to his realization after she tells him a bunch of stuff that he's like, oh, okay, I thought you understood what was going down here. I thought you were a noble in the other world. And it's just like, you looked through my memories and you assumed that I was a noble, even though I told you that I wasn't a noble several times. You know, like it has like a whole moment where they're like, okay, we've crossed some wires here. You know, she basically tries to free a couple of slaves and screwed over the town because like slaves in like towns like that are usually orphans. But the thing is, if an orphan is not sold, they're eventually freed and given a plot of land to work with. They're usually accepted back into their community. And just because somebody has been sold to a noble as like a mistress doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst life possible. It just is what it was. Yeah, like mine did not understand the complexities of the moment and approached it with the perspective of a modern Japanese person trying to do something that she thought was a good act, but nearly screwed the pooch for 1,000 people easily. And this is a setting that actually fully justifies its brutal nobility because the nobles are necessary for life to continue to exist. Like, after the situation is resolved with the mayor and his like helpers being turned into stone statues in front of her, they're basically told that they're not going to be receiving blessings from the temple for a year. And what this means is that the priesthood will not come there and give them a blessing for the land. And because of that, their crop yields are going to plummet. They are going to be experiencing starvation. You need people with magic to rejuvenate the soil every year towards the end of winter. And only then will like the ground truly like be settleable by human hands and you'll be able to grow crops on there. Okay, can I make the mercy ring yet? Yeah, it's more than enough ingots. Seriously though, watch Ascendance of a Bookworm or read the novel. There is also a, I want to say, complete manga. It's kind of annoying to parse which parts are which parts. But I fully recommend, like, you know, watching, reading, or reading, you know, in the general sense, because, like, it's a good story. It very much covers the whole, like, innovator hero, but, like, gives them a lot of fucking restrictions. Mine basically has an invalid's body. She can't do shit for herself. Want to know how many levels of can't do shit? She can't flip a damn pancake. That is how weak she is. She has ideas and can do a little bit of stuff by hand. But, like, at one point when she was introducing a pancake recipe to, you know, her buddy Lutz and her sister, she was, like, trying to flip the pancake on the stove. And she was just like, can't. Okay. Got the Ring of Mercy. Okay, now I can go on Viking. But yeah, Realist Hero is a pretty decent one too. It's easily a high B, if not an A, in my tiering list, structure. The main character is a highly sensible young man who is becoming a civil servant just to have, like, a stable life for his eventual kids. And then he's isekai'd. It's a fairly clean isekai because his, you know, his grandfather, who, like, bestowed in him, like, that sensibility, but also kind of wished that he would, like, live a happy life, is already fucking dead. So he's basically an orphan at this point. And he winds up in a kingdom where the kingdom's basically like, okay, so we summoned you and didn't expect to get anything out of it. And this is kind of a problem because, you see, we're basically bankrupt. We're suffering a famine right now. And we have a need for support from, like, the empire that our kingdom is not part of, but not opposed to, and we kind of need, like, their support. And part of our agreement with them was that we'd give them a hero if we couldn't make up for our money needs. So, and, like, he's like, how about I help you with your money needs and we'll see about, like, that elsewhere, because he kind of didn't want to get given to a random empire to fight in a war against monster kind. So he proceeds to, like, look through their resources, look at all their shit, and it's like, okay, yeah, so I can solve your problems. You just need to do this, this, and this. You know, like, a bunch of easy fixes. And the king promptly is like, I see. How about you be king and marry my daughter? And he's just like, excuse? Die! Yeah, he's just like, excuse moi? But yeah, he becomes king promptly, and he's able to fix a lot of problems for the kingdom. One of the problems right out the gate was that they'd gotten to a point where they were only cash cropping. You know, like, so, like, the price of, like, you know, textiles had gone way the fuck up. And they were, like, only growing crops for sale and did not have anybody selling or, like, making anything that was of immediate value for food. Ah, yes. Mercy ring. Die. Yep. Dude's power was honestly cool. So like, he gets a power as a hero, but it's literally that he can put a chunk of his will into an object and use it for multitasking. And he can do things like put his will into a book and have that book being read by like a portion of his mind elsewhere while he's doing other shit. And this is how he basically comes across like he's completely on top of things more than anybody could even imagine. Basically like, yeah, so yeah, about that like Southern Kingdom or some shit like that. And he also puts it into a bunch of feather pens. Because there's so much paperwork he needs to fucking do because, you know, kingdoms and their bureaucracy. I did not mean to, oh. Haha. Suck my dick. I forgot the Mercy Ring makes it do that. But yeah, like, on a list of hero powers, well, that's the one I wouldn't mind. I'm not sure anybody would want to be isekai to Palworld. Some of the fucking pals are scary. Want to know what these dudes are? You might think, oh, they hang people. Oh no, hang you just looks like a noose. In times of Eld, they were used for executing people because their arms are so powerful, they can just rip you apart. This is literally their description. Genuinely, you do not want to be in the Palworld universe. That's way the fuck over there. Honestly, a lot of the descriptions in this game are kind of hilarious because, like, so there's a dog from like the Faybreak Islands named Smokey. He's got a wavering like smoky fire off of his back, but it is a lukewarm flame. But anything that like is meltable that is left inside of that flame will melt. So people will use it to melt cheese. Yeah, boy. quite a few of the Palmons are like just kind of scary. There's one out there. I think actually it might be Mosalina. Let me bring that one up. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Milk pours from this pal like water from an open faucet, regardless of its gender. It's truly a mystery of life, although this mystery may be better left unsolved. Don't you just love the wording of that? Milk. Yeah, some real Morning Glory farm vibes. Like, not even shitting you. Do I have anything? No, I don't. Okay. Fuck you. Oh my god. Where did you go? Got a bronze cherry. What does their description say? A pal once angered cannot be pacified. It rages on and on like an inferno. The phrase "step on a dinosaur's tail" has a mean to enraging someone. How are you? Can curl up its body and roll around at extremely high speeds. Long ago, people would tie bags of milk to domesticated chilla as they grazed to produce butter, using the spinning force. I can't remember which one it was that my buddy Peter told me about that has the pregnancy breath. I pause for dramatic effect. I'm not kidding. Pregnancy breath. Now, thankfully, this only really applies to fucking plants. Basically, their breath is full of ow. You fucking bitch. I did not mean to do that. Oh. Yay! But yeah, basically its breath is full of pollen. So it pollinates, plant monsters. But genuinely speaking, if it is a female plant monster, it gets pregnant. Watcha! What'a? What'a? Ow! That hurt. Eat Pokeball. Now don't kill her. Oh, shit. Yeah. I said, attack the Hellsifier. Oh shit. Oh. Let's see. Trees and flat open areas. Dude, come on. Spot. This is why. I mean, I really can't critique this place. This was such a good spot for my, like, my manufactory base. I need stone and palladium. What do you mean training manual? Y'all got bones? Okay, let's see if we can't set up a... I need one more stone. One more stone. Okay. Let's see. Got plenty of space all around, and it really only starts to crest the hill at that point. And there's a bunch of fucking things. Yeah, okay. Okay. But that is a thing for another day. So let me throw up a raid to... You know, I'm going to raid Vera Similla. No problem, EA. And to all of you, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you, Salt, for raiding me. I appreciate you all for fucking listening to me ramble about anime for the better part of 2 straight hours, which is when I started fucking on about that. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with more Palworld at about the same time. I've been Paladin Ashe, and I'm signing off. Enjoy Verisimilla.